guys, how's it going? We have a very rare overcast and it's been rainy day for July, so we thought we'd get out and show you guys how things are looking. And even without the rain, I feel like this July has been one of the better ones. I don't know if you agree with that.
Absolutely.
But
yeah.
I feel like we're figuring it out. We're figuring out drip, we're figuring out just where to plant what, and things are just looking a little bit nicer. It has been cooler though, I will say that. It's been over 100, maybe 4 or 5 days this whole summer. Just crazy. So anyway, we wanted to start right up here at the very front of the property to show you the progress on our pillars, our entryway. The mail, like the delivery little cottage, is in process, so we'll walk over there in a second, and that's very exciting. It just feels so good to have this space starting to take shape. You will notice that Paul and Bethany and Luke got out here. They got everything kind of leveled out. They mulched it up here. Even though I'm going to be planting here soon, it just made the area look so sharp and beautiful. But we also did get the lights installed. So I'll have to look up the name of these lights. I cannot remember off the top of my head. I really like them. They're Hinkley brand. I guess it does say Hinkley on it, but I think that they're beautiful. They kind of match the gate in a way. I don't know. Did they match the gate? Any black light would match the gate probably. You can also see we do not have a cap on the top yet. We're running into a couple of snags with the sheer size of the pillars we had built. Come to find out that all of the kind of pre-designed caps, pier caps for this type of pillar, the biggest one you can get without it being custom is a 4 brick wide, and this is 4.5 bricks wide. Of course, we could have made them a half brick smaller and it wouldn't have really made a big difference, but I didn't know that. So anyway, we're working that out. But so far, so good. Everything's looking super beautiful. So let's take a look at the delivery shed over here. It's gonna be so cute. It's gonna match our flower shed. It's gonna be all white with cedar shakes. And we wanted it to be small enough to not be overwhelming for the area, but also big enough to where a full size, like a full-size person can open a door, it'll open out and get boxes in here. We'll probably have a little bench built so that nobody even has to bend over to put boxes on the floor. They can just drop them off here. They'll be in protection. And I do think it's gonna be charming because it's gonna have windows on both sides. The door will be one of those, what are they called? Is it a Dutch door? Like the ones that have the top that can open.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's a Dutch door.
Not that we will ever do that, but it's going to have that look to it. And we'll do a little pathway leading up to it, and we'll have it planted up really cute. And I'm very much looking forward to that. And that way we can also get rid of this right here. This will no longer be here. This doesn't fit hardly anything that we actually receive here. Because when you think about the sizes of boxes you get from Amazon and such, that isn't actually that big. But we didn't know that when we ordered it. We're learning a lot through this whole process. So I think we're going to take off down the lane. Let's just walk through the gate. Walk through here and we can take a look at the annuals that are planted along the lane here. They're beautiful. Also, I do have to say, as you drive through here, it's getting harder and harder to see everything all at once, which is the goal. I want it to start feeling like we've got rooms and that, that there's some mystery in this space, and we're starting to see that form up a little bit. Supertunia Mini Vista White. I will be repeating this more. Every time I see white annuals, when they're in their containers, to me, they're just a little bit underwhelming just because it's white. It's not super vivid and bright and like the pinks and bright yellows and stuff, but these show up. They show up so beautifully. We can see them from any point of the property, really. They're just beautiful, and it's been a great performer. This is some variety of Siberian iris that absolutely loves its life up here.
It looks like it should be by a pond.
I know, and that makes it look like it's more lush up here than it actually is. So if you can kind of get that cattail vibe without having the marshy sort of situation, this gets regular drip. It gets the same drip as our evergreens. That's what it's living off of, and it's doing great. Our Echinacea purpurea started from seed, doing amazing. I swear the Echinacea you can start from seed are the best kind. They are just tough, they are productive, they are beautiful. I'm just really enjoying it up here. We popped some hanging baskets in the ground right here that we were sent. I actually didn't know we were gonna get these in with our annual load, but we did, and I will do this again. So we've got 6 hanging baskets, and they're just absolutely stunning. This is a mix of Supertunia Vista Bubblegum. I think that's Vista Jazzberry and, is it Mini Vista White or a Supertunia Snowdrift? Might be Snowdrift.
I think it looks like a mini to me. I think Snowdrift would be more of a bully in this mix.
I don't know. I mean, the Jazzberry is holding its own against the Bubblegum.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't really know. They're gorgeous. It doesn't even matter. They're like small shrubs at this point. The Chase tree, this is the Rock Steady Chase tree that I planted last year, and we don't plant Chase trees in this area. And I always wondered if it was because, people have tried them here and they just didn't work. So when this took forever to break dormancy, I thought it was dead. And we didn't get to it. It's kind of like the Chachapoos. We didn't get to it until way later in the season to come pull them out. Lo and behold, they all survived. I have, I think, 4 of them in the garden, and they're all beautiful. Superbena Whiteout right here. And then I'm really loving this. This is the Suncredible Sunflowers with the Supertunia Tiara Blue. And I've planted quite a lot of Tiara Blue this year. This is the best application, I think, in my garden this year. I like it better in the ground, contrasting with the bright yellow and nothing else around it, really. I think it's a really pretty look. Right here we have a few more annuals. These were also hanging baskets. This one is Superbena Violet Ice, Supertunia Vivid, Hoopla Vivid Orchid, and then a Supertunia Mini Vista White. And those are beautiful too. And you can see I did leave some spots because I will come in hopefully and pop some more plants in here and start developing this more with perennials and shrubs. White swan echinacea right there, that's another favorite. Absolutely beautiful. And this mix has been, like, surprisingly, has become one of my top favorites of plant mixes on our property. When I planted this, you know, the gar is so little in its containers and it's so wispy that you really can't, unless you've grown it before, you really can't envision the impact that it actually will have later on. And every time I plant it, I always question it just a little bit. And then I'm reminded after it has some time to grow how absolutely beautiful it is. I have the plain the blue salvia. These are the brand new paniculata hydrangea called Powerball. And they were not in bloom, just leaves when we planted them. They're looking really beautiful.
How big will they get?
I think about 4 by 4.
Okay, so good size.
7, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I planted 7, kind of in a circle around these birch trees, which these were planted this spring. So you guys, there was nothing here at the beginning of this growing season at all. So I'm really happy with this. Sparkling amethyst superbena, and then that's kind of all the annuals I put in here, just a group, three different varieties. We've got a little blue spruce in here that doesn't get very big. I think it gets like 8 by 6. And then we've got the formal flower garden. This is such a favorite space of mine, you guys. I'm so happy we decided to take this more formal. And I haven't even decided how I want to plant up these middle spots. I feel like planting up the corners, which we've got plain the blue salvia here, which, and it turns out that the mini vista plum veined, you can see it in a few spots, but that was unnecessary. Now that the plain the blues is so big, but boy, it was beautiful there. You could, for a while, until the plain the blues really took off, you could see some of those supertunias in there. The pollinators love this salvia. It's the most striking annual salvia I think that a person can plant. And then we did come in and plant some sweet romance lavender all the way down the walkways. We have a little bit of replacing to do. We have lost a few, which when you plant, I can't even remember, 460 or something like that of them, you're bound to lose a few. But this quadrant especially, I think every single one of them is alive and looking really nice. But imagine when this lavender, it grows about 18 by 18. So, you know, it'll kind of grace the sides of those sidewalk and it'll grow together. It's close enough to where it'll form a nice hedge. That's going to be beautiful as well. So I don't know, I've just been enjoying the peace that these spots bring me. It's kind of like breathing space. What would you want to plant it with, Aaron?
I don't know. I was just thinking about that. You know, these trees are going to get really large too.
Yeah.
And we need to stake them up before fall, I think. But I don't know, I think that there needs to be something unique in each quadrant.
Yeah.
To kind of like draw you to each quadrant instead of, you know, if you were to plant each quadrant exactly the same,
yeah.
Once you've seen one, you don't need to see any more.
Exactly.
So I think, you know, doing something unique in each of the quadrants will kind of draw you in.
So do you think, and maybe you guys want to weigh in on this too, that'll help guide our decision, but should we plant up each quadrant with one thing so it's not a big jumble, and then plant this up with one thing, and then do that all the way throughout to where every quadrant has something different, but everything's mass planted enough to where you can really see some impact? Or do you know, match opposite corners? You know,
sure.
I don't know. I don't even care. I don't even care what we if we don't plant these, even next year.
Well, you have enough formality and enough repetitive plantings that I think that you can do something unique in each of the 4 quadrant, or maybe, you know, you have like 4 by 4 quadrants.
There's 16
There's
altogether.
16 total,
yeah.
like sections.
Yeah. And
so
some of them, like this one's smaller. All the interior ones are a bit smaller. One of the ideas that I had right in this space was to do pleached trees, which pleaching is a way of pruning your trees into a very flat, sort of vertical, but flat, espaliered kind of look. So we would have a trunk right here with a tree doing this. Yeah, probably right in here. We'd have another trunk right here, and I would actually train it to be this shape right here. And then another trunk here. And then we'd have it repeated behind every bench so that in essence it was a giant square that was just broken up by the grass walkways. But then I got to thinking about the view that you get from the lane, and maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe we keep like little pockets, a view to the fountain, but it's so beautiful when you drive in, especially in the evening, and you see this fountain running with the light shining through it. It's really quite
magical.
Yeah. So I don't know, we might do the pleach thing at some point. I think it would be really pretty. It would add some bulk in the center here that I think is needed somehow.
Well, that's some mystery.
It would.
How many years do you think it would take before you had like the final pleached look that you were after?
I don't know. I think it depends on what variety you go with and also how big you start with.
Sure.
And I would probably try to find, for a project like this, I try to find them already like pretty good size. Or, a person could go in right here with something, which would be less work. That's the other thing. Pleaching just would add another layer of work. Pruning lots of different times throughout the summer or the growing season. Then we've got all the hedging in here. Do we want to add that extra amount of work, or do we want to just put something different right here, some kind of deciduous tree that's beautiful that we don't have to maintain all that much? So anyway, just some ideas we've been throwing around. I think we should walk through the south garden, part of it. Kind of have like 2 sections of the south garden. We'll call this the inner and outer loop.
Need to mow the grass.
It is quite long, but it looks nice.
Yeah.
The grass does look beautiful in here.
Except for, of course, that one little spot right there.
You know what? Everybody has little spots.
Well, we just had a sprinkler that got like jacked up. It was
really?
just spraying in the wrong direction.
Oh.
So
Dang.
it's
Well,
fixed.
it'll be nice here pretty quick. But we've been in here too, Aaron, cutting back perennials. Like it's not all the way full.
Yeah, I'm not worried about this section right here was because of the geraniums.
Oh, yeah, the massive geraniums. We just cut those back. You guys, like just cut these back. Look at them already. They're monsters. They get so big, and those poor sedum, these were so tall, they were shrouding all of this autumn joy sedum. So I exposed these on a really hot day, and the front ones kind of burned a little bit. They'll be fine. These will cover them again here really soon.
Look at how good these hydrangeas are looking behind you.
I know, these are the pufferfish variety. So they, like as they grow, they kind of push out a little center part and make the blooms look really big. But these looked like they were struggling last year. These went in 2 years ago. Then I added 2 or 3 to the end right there, and those were even worse. So I'm really thankful with how they're looking today, this year. I think they're supposed to get like 4 to 6 feet tall and wide, right in that range, which would be great. Vanderwolf pine has put on a tremendous amount of growth this year.
Do you envision trimming the bottom of that or just letting it be bushy at the bottom?
I kind of like to let things be bushy at the bottom.
Yeah.
But I'm open. Like if these things end up needing more space, we can absolutely trim some stuff up.
Sure.
Yeah. That one will get 25 feet tall.
Yeah.
But it's almost, what do you think that is? About 8 feet wide right now?
Yeah.
So it can get upwards of 10 to 15 feet wide.
Okay.
So it might need to be limbed up a bit.
Well, it seems like it's loving its life.
Yeah. The Agastaki looks great. And then this annual, you guys, I highly recommend this one. This is the Kufia called Totally Tempted Vivid Violet. They are such beautiful performers. This is my favorite of all this kind of I think Totally Tempted is a line of Kufia, and there might be 4 or 5 varieties. There's a frosted violet as well, which is pretty. I'll show it to you on the other side, but I like this one the best. I think they're just so pretty. Slightly prone to aphids, so keep that in mind, but so are supergenias. You know, it just kind of depends on your year. This is the Mini Vista Indigo right here. We've got a nice drift of just a random echinacea. There's some white swan in there, and then the pink. I don't even think I planted the pink in here. I think it just ended up in here somehow. We're getting more and more of that going on. There's hardy geraniums and bindweed. No flower bed is complete in our garden without bindweed. More of the Kufia. You can see a little peek of the bistro set. We'll walk in there when we come around the other side. We've got more hardy geraniums and some midnight masquerade penstemon. We just got through planting some Russian sage. In fact, Aaron, I don't even know if you've seen that. So we've got, I think, 8 Russian sage popped in throughout this border, but I just needed to work on amping this area up. We've got the Chitalpa looking gorgeous right here. And we've got some Just Joey roses in here, but I needed some more color and some more bulk. We'll keep this open until we figure out what's going to go on in here. And then we've got the Queen Nectarine Hyssop right here, which this one's doing great. I've planted the Royal Raspberry, which I just planted more of it by the pond and have struggled with that particular variety, but this one is pretty good at coming back. It's reliable. And it's just got the most beautiful color. The thing I like about it, the calyx that holds the petal on, is that what it's called, calyx? How come that sounds wrong to me right now? Anyway, it doesn't matter. The thing that holds the petal on is kind of a mauve pink color. So even after these lose their petals, they still look like they're kind of in bloom somehow. They're really beautiful. And it makes you feel like they're even lower maintenance because you don't feel the need to come deadhead. And we've got some really nice echinacea in here. The Niagara Falls Panicum is another one that's just a beautiful performer, so low maintenance and so striking. Even on its own, I've got one like singles in a few other spots in flower beds. You don't need to plant them in a drift to have them look impactful. You just need one. They're beautiful. These are a Seaside Swirl, Seaside Pink maybe, Rugosa Rose. And then we're also leaving this space open so that we've got a possible walkway leading into this center area as well. So I've been a little bit careful about planting around these spaces because I don't want to overdevelop and have to move stuff out when we get ready to do something. Got more hyssop right here. I'm a huge hyssop fan. I maybe planted this one a bit closer to the border than I should have. I don't think it's supposed to get this big though when I read the tag. I'll have to read the label, but I want to say this one is supposed to be like 2.5 feet tall.
Could you kind of just trim some of it back to make way for the sedum?
Yeah, except for if you got close and looked at all the bees on it.
Yeah.
Like, is it worth it? It's
Well,
so
I don't
pretty.
know.
It's not laying on the grass yet.
No, it's
It's
not.
laying on the sedum, which is
That's
not
what I mean.
ideal,
If you just gave the
but-
sedum a little bit more breathing space.
Well, maybe. Or, you know, when we cut it back, maybe I can scoot it back. I could dig it out and do that. This is the Reminiscent Coral Rose right here. Need to come out here and do some deadheading. Meant to do that the other night because, boy,
is this iron? Does this need iron?
no, I don't think so. New growth is always a little bit different color. Sometimes it's a little bit lighter and sometimes it's got more red to it. But I see the leaf cutter bees have found these like perfect little holes on the edges. We've got some asters right here looking beautiful. Those look great with that rose. White wands of Veronica that hasn't even met a pair of clippers this year. I need to trim this back. I trimmed back some other white wands, but this is also a pollinator magnet. We've got a little space right up here where we are doing some experimenting with annuals, new annuals for this year. These are, we'll have to put the name up on the screen, they're a type of primrose, and they are beautiful. And we've got some echinacea though popping up through, and kufia that seeded itself from last year. The unplugged white salvia, I did not plant this year. It came back from last year, so did that kufia. Like those just either overwintered or they came back from seed, all of the unplugged white.
I wonder if sometimes things are labeled annuals just because they're maybe like unreliable as a perennial, and so no one would want to label it a perennial because you'd get unhappy customers if you labeled it a perennial.
Sure.
But in some cases they kind of
will come back.
Will come back from time to time, and that's why you get those.
Which I'm happy with that. If I could have a solid drift of the unplugged white salvia come back from year to year, I love that plant. It's so pretty. I was skeptical when it first came out. I thought, oh, a white salvia. I don't know. Sometimes white flowers, especially when they are done blooming, they can kind of turn papery and brown looking, and they can look really messy. This plant doesn't do that. We've got some of it's a new type of, it's a maestro coral hyssop, and that one is labeled an annual, and I believe it on that one. It is fairly unreliable at coming back. I've been able to plant it 2 years in a row now, but it's a very pretty color. Russian sage here. Our poor panicum, it just needs to dry out. It doesn't usually splay out like this. Our plants are not used to any kind of moisture coming from the sky during the summertime. So when we do get it, they're kind of weak. They're not acclimated. So it just needs to dry, and those will stand right back up. Super Petunia Vista, boy, I think this is the Vista Paradise with a ton of kufia coming through that we planted here last year, which when that blooms, that's gonna look horrible because it's like a bright red kufia. I should get in there and weed that out. We've got some Stand By Me clematis that still has color, but we need to come in and cut that back. And then this has just become this little wild patch of happiness over here. I love it. The echinacea, the rudbeckia that I thought was annual and it apparently isn't, comes back every single year. The echinacea I don't know which side it started on, but I don't think I planted it on both sides. Our echinacea seeds, they seed themselves fairly well. I think it's because they don't need a ton of water to survive. And most of our stuff, like those things that might be invasive in a more rainy or wet climate, they just aren't here because they don't get the moisture they need to get going. But there are a few things like the echinacea that will do it. Right in here, we've planted some teucrium that we started from seed, and then the daisies right here. We've also got like some Fama Blue pincushion flowers, which this right here, I started these from seed as well, and I planted these either last year or year before, and I've got a bunch of seedlings I started this year that we've popped all throughout this whole area. And then we've got a giant container just full of some fun stuff. There's the Tiara Blue with saffron finch, the luscious pinkberry blend, luscious something blend. It's just a fun, bright container. And then a border that I just need to do some work on. We've got chamomile and echinacea that probably should be cut back. Eryngium I just cut back. I need to plant something in here that has a windbreak to my poor yarrow. And I haven't cut the yarrow back because I don't want to then expose my beautiful phlox to the wind, because then they will do the same thing. So right now the yarrow is the wind block, but this is so beautiful. Brand new arbor edition a couple of weeks ago. Planted the Kinsley Ghost honeysuckle. It's already put on growth since we put them in. Both of them have. And I'm so thrilled to have this plant back in our garden. And I'm thrilled to have this arbor. I think I ordered 2 arbors. One was called a Michael and one was a Henry. I can't remember which one this is, but from a rustic garden. They're a small business out of Illinois. So I'm going to have a pathway starting there that's going to lead you through, kind of pop you out this way and lead you through the center of this flower bed to a little seating area, which we found this bistro set when we were out antiquing last week and a half ago.
Will it dead end right here, or are you going to let it?
I kind of wanted to, I want to develop both sides to where it's secret in here, to where you don't really see this from, maybe you'll have a little view of it, a peek of it from one spot, so that when you're walking on the main grass path, you're like, what is in there? I see a table and chair in there. How do I get there? But I largely want to plant some stuff that gets
That's cool.
Pretty good size. We could put this somewhere else and continue the pathway on to that big spot, but I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah.
It gets pretty narrow right here, so
Just let it dead end.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I like it. This crabapple is going to be glorious. I need to trim some lower branches, but I'm not going to do it until after winter because of all of these beautiful crabapples that will be bright red. This is like a red barren crabapple, I think, or barren crabapple. Beautiful. Okay, let's pop back out there. We were on our way out. Aaron had to stop because this really is eye-catching, isn't it?
Well, this is I love this color.
Prismatic pink phlox is what this is called.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, from this side, man.
It really is beautiful.
That's a good looking plant.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to go back down the other side of this loop walkway here. Oh, James Britannia, Safari Dusk? No, Safari Dawn, maybe? James Britannia is an awesome annual in containers and in the landscape. I think more in the landscape than in containers, but they're productive either way. Okay, back to the starting point. We'll just go down this way. We've got some daylilies in here, which every year I swear I'm going to pull them out, and then every year they start blooming. Usually in June, they look so gorgeous and they're full of color, but then toward this time of the year, they still have some blooms on them, but look at how ratty the foliage looks.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about those Siberian iris.
Yeah.
They're green all the way to the bottom,
right.
but these brown out.
So as soon as they're done blooming, we're gonna whack them back and let them come like flush new leaves.
You don't want to just pull them out?
I mean, not until I have something to put there. I've got so many holes to
Yeah,
fill
that's true.
that I can just leave them be, and I'll enjoy them in June, and we'll whack them back toward the first part of August. I just planted some hardy geraniums in here that look a little iffy.
A little sad.
They'll be fine. We've got Caryopteris that are just now starting to come into bloom. That's the Beyond Midnight variety right there. Great plant for midsummer, like a midsummer pick-me-up for color after you've cut back a lot of perennials. Super Tunia Raspberry Rush, I think right down here. I lost a couple of them, I don't know why.
Happens.
Win some, you lose some. I love this little spot right in here. Again, the rain kind of beat my Heliopsis a little bit, but they're gorgeous. I love the variegation. I love the Buddleia. Those are the Miss Violet Buddleia. Serendipity Alliums. That little pop of white, those are the Pope John Paul II roses we dug out from behind the fireplace. They were here when we moved in. And I thought that most of those roses, and most of them were climbing icebergs. But then I got to looking at some and I thought, no, these flowers are way more like hybrid tea-esque. And come to find out, when I was digging them, I found that little metal tag at the bottom of just, I think 3, or maybe 4. There might be a 4th one. And it said Pope John Paul II. I love that they have those tags on them. I don't know if they still do that. It's usually paper tags these days that they put on, or some kind of like a plastic tag. Baptisia, that's the lemonade or lemon meringue. They are absolutely massive. Massive plants. I should have just planted one there. I think there's maybe 5 in this spot. Drops of Jupiter, oregano. Salvia did its second bloom flush already, and we need to cut it back again and get ready for a 3rd. We also need to cut back the meadow rue. That's leavings from its first bloom flush. Look at the little moths flying around. Those are probably budward moths right there. They're so pretty when they're flying. Superbena, Stormburst, right here. Panicums, those are the totem poles. Then we've got some asters in here. And they're the monk variety, I think, and there's several throughout this space. And I love this. I think this is a Pink Frost Supertunia. I think that's what it's called. It's new for next year. And they're beautiful. I think they're a really pretty color. I like the growth habit. I like that they're not overtaking their space. We just got through planting some kind of like a soft yellow, softish pink Coreopsis through this space too.
Would you call that kind of like a pastel pink?
Yeah, but it's got kind of like an iridescent quality, I think, because of the color of the throat. Like when you look in here and it's kind of white with that chartreusey green-yellow throat, they look like they glow a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
They're really pretty. I have got a James Galway rose, which after I planted it, I realized it's a climbing rose. So I'm gonna have to relocate this one at some point or put something behind it for it to climb on. In fact, I'm gonna just fix this really quick. I've got an Impressionist rose back here. That's beautiful, but I need to do something to this obelisk because it keeps coming apart every time we even get the slightest of breeze. It knocks it over a little bit. There, is that better? Most beautiful colored flowers though. Gosh. Better than it was, I think. We've got a forest pansy redbud right here, which has really gotten thick. More daylilies. These are about at the point they need to be cut back. And then we've got some Miss Ruby Buddleia in here and a bunch of pincushion flowers, which we should also cut back probably at this point. I love this little bench. We don't sit on it. That's the thing. You know, I get asked often, you know, do you ever just sit and enjoy your garden? We do. We do have some spots where we go and sit. And I do feel like we need to have seating every once in a while in the garden, but we don't personally ever. Like, do we sit in the benches in the formal flower garden?
Occasionally.
Occasionally, but
yeah,
rarely.
Sometimes. The problem is that we get so much sun, and during the day you kind of are looking for shade.
Yeah,
so
true.
if a bench is not in shade, it's not really going to get used very
True.
much.
So one day it'll be
one
used.
day.
We have an Autumn Brilliant Serviceberry right above this bench, which will provide some really beautiful shade. And our larch tree looks gorgeous.
Yeah, it's doing a lot better this year.
Yeah,
it struggled last year.
It fried last year. Right below those, we've got Sunurita roses, and those look really good with these hardy geraniums, which looks like they're trying to climb the Baptisia back there. I love hardy geraniums, though. I'm such a fan. Look at this, though. Look at how gorgeous this is. Supertunia Bordeaux right here, one of my favorites. I need to do some investigating here because I don't know what's going on with this hydrangea. Has it looked like this all season? It looks like it got knocked over.
Yeah, it does kind of look like it got knocked over.
I don't know if I can make a jump without wrecking the plants. It's like fast, it's solid. And it doesn't look like I lost any major branches right there. That's just like the shape of the plant. That's super weird.
Boy, if I'm moving the camera around a lot, I'm sorry. I'm getting eaten up by mosquitoes right now.
We need to get, this is the worst part of our garden for mosquitoes. We should hurry. We'll hurry through the rest of it. Those are the hydrangeas, Limelight Prime. Ooh, look at that big weed lettuce plant we have back there.
Oh,
See how tall that is?
Yeah, that's prime.
I've actually been watching that over the last couple weeks.
Well, it's so hard to get to over there. You have to be on the other side.
I know it. We've got some orange smoothie daylilies. Those are really pretty color, but we'll be cutting those back as well. I love the backdrop right here, though. So many beautiful things.
I still worry about, you know, these trees are not ours. They're the neighbors. And I feel like we need to have some things on our side that will create a block.
Yeah.
Because I don't like relying on the neighbors' trees as a backdrop.
What if, though, stay there, what if we planted something right here?
Yeah. Yeah, something that gets real big.
Something that could go like over the lane back here. I've got some sting arborvitaes back here, but that doesn't matter. We can move those.
Yeah, maybe we should.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. This is an autumn brilliant serviceberry, so it gets 25 feet tall,
Yeah.
which isn't insignificant, but it would be nice to have something else that would provide some bulk right there.
Yep. How big will this tree get over here?
Which one?
The one behind the birch.
The red fox katsura. I'd have to look it up. I want to say maybe it gets 25 by like 15.
Kind of planted a lot of small stuff back here.
Well,
Or smaller things.
I don't think that that's small. 25 feet tall. That's
Well, to me, these are big things.
well, yeah, yeah, they
And
are.
I think you need some of those interspersed in the garden to.
Yeah.
I like big trees. I cannot lie.
Well, then what's with this choice, Aaron? This was Aaron's choice. This is an Apollo maple. How tall does that one get? 10 feet wide.
Yeah,
It's a weird tree.
it's a weird shaped tree. We're kind of just letting it do its thing.
We could plant something right back there though,
Yeah, maybe we
and
should.
let it maybe just bully out the Apollo.
Yeah.
Because who cares? Look, that one's not going to perform the way we want it to.
Right.
Or we could take the Apollo out and have it move somewhere else and put something that gets big right there. That would be an option. I don't know. We can flesh these ideas out later.
Not on camera.
Mini Vista Whites right down here. We've got some of the little like microchip pink buddleia right in here. And I love the Wichita Blue Juniper with the Sesky Gold Dwarf Birch. Now these are the ones we took down hard. Like this one right here, we took it all the way down to the nub this spring because they had kind of died out a little bit. Calycanthus is looking beautiful. Aaron, maybe you can poke your way through there and show the bloom on this thing. They are so pretty and they look like they shouldn't survive here.
I like the leaves on these.
I do too. They're big, they're glossy.
Yeah, that's
Today
what it is.
they're-
The glossy leaf that looks
Yeah,
nice.
the luster on leaves makes a huge difference in a high desert garden, that's for sure. Just came out here the other night and weeded out a ton of grass that was growing out through our creeping veronica. I see a bunch that I missed. Bethany right here, I just cut that back. And then we've got a State of Grace rose, which they are so, so pretty. That color. And then the Once in a Melon, or One in a Melon echinacea, backed by the Miss Violet buddleia. So this is the Frosted Violet Kufia right there. And it's very pretty, but it's definitely, there's a lot more to see. So I think it fights a little bit more for attention as opposed to the Vivid Violet, or the, what's it called? What can I remember?
The other one.
Yeah, the other one. It's two-toned, but they're both dark colors, so it's just it's much more saturated, and it doesn't make your eye fight to see which color you want to land on. But I think it's real pretty mixed in right there. We've got Vanessa Bell roses with Russian sage, that's a denim and lace. Just planted a bunch of Siberian iris behind this fountain, which will look like that big patch up front one day.
I'm gonna pull this out.
What? Oh, these?
No, behind it.
The fountain? Oh, the Korean. I think it's a Korean cedar. It's trying so hard.
Not trying hard enough.
We'll see if that's a project for another day. Superbena Violet Ice looks gorgeous right here. I love it. This whole thing, there's some Carolee Petite Pink Gara kind of interspersed, but it's mostly just that one annual bring in the color. I've planted a bunch more anises up back in here, and they were real little when I planted them, and they've bulked up. They look amazing. All right, let's hop over to, well, actually, we should take a look at this. This is a honeysuckle. What's the name of the one? Is it Sensation Honeysuckle?
Yeah, I think that's
It's
right.
proven winners. But look at this, it's loaded up with berries. It is so pretty, and it smells so good. But look at that. I'm not sure that I can remember a year where it's done that as intensely as this. Does that mean it's stressed?
Wow, it needs iron. Look at that.
Well, that is so pretty. I wonder if these hold in arrangements very well. Doesn't seem like they would. They kind of just fall off the plant real easy. But boy, that's gorgeous out here right now. Really caught my eye. In the orchard, our bagged apple project is going decently. I have some apples like this one right here. I'll show you a few close-ups. I got to this project later than I should. Some of them still have damage, even though I bagged them, but a lot of them don't. A lot of them are clean. So I think it's gonna be mixed bag results. You're supposed to bag the apples when they're like 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch, and I was bagging them when they were double that size. So it's likely that, well, it is not just likely, the eggs were already there when I bagged them. So I just created a nice little protected space for them. But I think we will get quite a lot of clean apples from this project as well. So worth it. I'm just gonna tuck this in. I'll come back later to get it. I'll forget. Okay, this is a before and after project I'm saving. You like my dead boxwood? I have not touched this space. This pot was full of water and we didn't see it. Nobody could see that it was full and it just bogged it out and it killed it. So I would like to do like a little before and after probably flower bed transformation for the front of this whole shed. We'll swap out both pots. We'll plant up the flower beds. I just haven't found, it's a weird time in the season to find a lot of one specific thing. So I want to find just the right thing to put in here, and I'm just not going to stress about it until we find it. I wonder if the plums are ready. They look pretty good. These are Santa Rosas. They're so close. Not quite there, but very close. And this is the most productive that the Honeycrisp apple tree has ever been. Look at these huge apples already. And that's a clean apple right there. No worm damage, protected from all the bugs. Don't get too close to the rest of them. Some of them have worms. The Bathsheba roses that we dug out from the fence that was in front of the north garden where, you know, we used to have that boxwood formation and the fountain in the middle that was broken. I dug these out. There's 2 of them and brought them over here, and they're so beautiful. And our strawberries are just, I mean, look at this. Look at this right here. Just in this one spot.
How do you do it?
Just, strawberries love us. I don't know what the deal is. It is absolutely nothing special that we have done, except I did notice this year, look at these. One thing I did notice about these though, is that the first crop of them were beautiful and sweet and perfect. And then kind of the second flush, they had a sourness to them. I was like, what is going on? Well, we had the water set quite high when they were just getting established. They need a little bit more water to get going. And it was pretty windy. I would say even windier than now at the beginning of our summer. It was drying stuff out pretty quickly. And we never backed off on that amount of water. So what that can do if your plant's getting too much water is it'll create all this big, beautiful foliar growth, but it will not let the sugars condense in the fruit. And it can make them taste kind of sour. So I don't know how much you reduced it by, Erin, but they're wonderful again. It didn't take very long for them to correct at all. And those more sourish strawberries, I made them into jam and they taste every bit as good as the sweet strawberries you get off of the plants right now. But I'm also rooting a bunch of these for my parents' garden. And I think it's going well. Oh yeah, look at this. Don't even need to take it out of the pot.
Going really well.
Yeah, and I just thought I would do it in shifts. So I've got 24 going right now, a whole bunch of strawberries right here. And then for whoever wants strawberries, I'm just gonna keep doing it and keep on just sending strawberry plants out to whoever wants some. I need to pick these. I have so many gallon-sized freezer bags in our freezer full of strawberries, and I've made at least 5 or 6, probably 6 batches of strawberry jam already.
The hydrangeas back here are looking good.
Oh yeah, they
Can I look at
are.
those?
Yeah. These are the quick fire fabs. They grow 6 to 8 feet tall and wide. I think they're a zone 4 through 8. But these are just a once a year maintenance sort of situation, which is perfect for this back area. I wanted it to be pretty when you come back here and maybe catch your eye from down that way, but I didn't want extra maintenance because if Erin pans to the left, you'll see what's actually back here.
Junk.
It's tidy, like it's
Paul's
semi-organized.
working on this right here. He was cleaning this up earlier, and then he quit because I told him we were doing a garden tour.
Oh.
And he was like, "Okay, well, I'll get out of that section for just a little
Oh, well, that was nice of him.
Yeah.
These turn beautifully colored in the fall. They get really beautiful pink on them, and they're great for arrangements and all of that. And when we very first planted them, this red point maple, which was the very first thing planted out here, right?
bit." I think so.
Like the very first thing in
you
this
know,
whole.
did these get planted first? The arbs, which are doing great, by the way.
These are the best looking ones on our property.
Yeah.
I don't know the order. It was very similar timing probably, but these were in full sun, and they are like, especially the ones on the outer part are in quite a lot of sun all day long, and they can handle it. So I think it's just a really wonderful hydrangea to have. I mean, in a high desert where typically, like last summer, we had over 30 days of over 100-degree temperatures with no rain, no cloud cover, like nothing to protect these plants, and they didn't burn, they didn't look bad, they looked as fresh as they do now. They're great. Okay, berries. Berries are looking really great right now, and so are the grapes. However, I was noticing, Erin, that these I think need iron.
Is it okay to give these chelated iron?
At the base, I don't think it would, as long as it's not like hitting the fruit.
Okay.
I mean, we are so close to harvest, we could probably wait till after. They're not suffering.
Yeah.
So we could wait till after just in case.
I just didn't know if you could give chelated iron to things that you're about to harvest or things that you eat.
Look in here though. Look at that. Just in that one spot.
Wow.
Those will turn red. These are red seedless called red Suffolk or Suffolk red. They're really tasty. And our heritage raspberries, they are producing right now. We need to get out here and pick these, Erin. Raspberries or raspberry jam is your favorite kind. Fall golds right here.
Which are better,
They are better.
even though they look worse.
These are a higher sugar content. They're a lot softer than the reds.
This is one of those don't knock it till you tried it kind of thing.
Yeah. They are, like, without a doubt, hands down the best raspberry out there. You want those? These containers are looking pretty good. We've got the Kufia again right here. See the double dark color right there? They're just a little less to look at in terms of high contrast colors. We've got Royal Velvet. Piketty Pink Gara, these had aphids. This also has a James Britannia. So I think that they are kind of reeling from that a little bit and coming back from that, but they're looking good comparatively. Our Triple Crown blackberries are starting to produce. Aren't they amazing? I got some huge berries off these the other day, like bigger than the ones I'm showing you right now. The middle ones are also going, the black satin and Natchez are still going for it. But you can see these are a little bit smaller. Triple Crown, these are small for Triple Crowns, but these have more, less seed. Like these seeds are a little bit bigger than these. They're all good. They're so tasty. We have the white Niagara grapes on this half of the grape arbor. So you can see those right in there. And those will just be a white grape. They are seeded, but they make the most beautiful pink juice. They call them the white Concord. They've got that really wonderful juice flavor. Okay, I think let's pop back out onto the grass over here. We've got our currants that we planted. This one's having a struggle. I don't know why. It looks like a couple things. It looks like iron and it looks like water.
Like too much water?
Not enough.
Not enough?
It's like scorching, but only...
It's weird because like that amount of iron deficiency, I don't think is causing a problem
Oh,
yet.
no, I don't think it's that. Oh, that's good. Yum. Oh, it's wet.
Well, it rained.
That's true. I'm not used to that. Like, dang, the soil's saturated.
Yeah.
I need to groom up our rhubarb. My goodness. Super Tunia Vista bubblegum.
That is, tell you what, man, that's like the best one.
It is. It really is. It's so bright. When you're standing on the other end, maybe we'll turn back around when we get down there. It's just, it draws your eye. And it's perfect because I wasn't sure what we wanted to do with that stone walkway. I didn't know if we would want to bring it out this way or continue it on, but I think we are going to continue it on back there. So this year I just popped annuals in there because I just wanted it to be a filled space, but I didn't want anything in there permanent until I made my decision. Right here, we've got some Stokes asters called Riptide, and they're starting to bloom again, which is so awesome. So you can see the spent bloom right here, and you can see new bloom starting in. Looking beautiful. The opalescence phlox right behind them. I think I want to take this out. We've treated this thing. It's a string theory Amsonia. I don't know. It's not supposed to be yellow.
I wonder if that's just if that's a plant related thing or if it's location related. Like maybe we should try it somewhere else just to see.
Yeah, there might be a vein of something it doesn't like in here,
Yeah,
but
because every once in a while that happens.
yeah, it's a perennial. You cut it all the way back and it gets huge. It's like a small shrub. And I like the texture right here. If it was green, that'd be nice. There's a firelight hydrangea. I think that's its best year so far.
No.
For sure. And then we've just recently planted some Veronica in here, just kind of developing these little spaces. And we've had to do some shifting too. Like I had serendipity alliums all the way to the edge. And last year, because it was just too tall, it was too abrupt of an ending before the grass started. So last year we came and dug out all the ones in the front, split them up and moved them to other spots in the garden. And they've done great wherever we put them. But it's so much more appropriate, I think, to have those scooted back a little bit. And then we can tuck in some shorter stuff like this in front. And this is kind of a pretty little view in here. We did a mini Vista plum veined. We had an Indian magic crabapple in here. I have no idea why it died, but it just died.
I'm actually okay with that because I think that we need a much larger tree in here.
Like it was right here. I kind of agree with you. It bloomed this spring. It was gorgeous in bloom. It was covered in blooms, like you couldn't even see branches. And it started to push leaves like everything else, and then all of a sudden it just crisped up and stopped. And all of us were kind of like,
yeah.
And Paul came out here and he did some, sometimes we dig around and we discover that the drip isn't working properly or something like that, but it wasn't the case here. It was working. So sometimes that just happens, and sometimes it's for the better. Now we can put something in here that'll be a nice, great big canopy.
We've got some bigger trees coming. Trees that get larger here in like a month or two.
Yeah, that'll be fun. We can choose one of those. I'm gonna head back out this way. We've got Nepeta that we've cut back and it's flushing beautifully. Monk's Head in here, which is a really late bloomer. I love it. Echinacea. There's some lobelia in here. This is kind of like it looks much more, complete when the Nepeta is full.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the rain, look what the rain did right here. My goodness. Tuscan Sun Heliopsis looks so pretty with the denim and lace Russian sage. And then these are the Firelight Tidbit hydrangeas right here. And then we'll walk down. Actually, if you turn around and look at that bubblegum, you can see how bright it is down there.
Yeah, that's something.
It really is. So down this way, we've got a bunch of echinacea mixed in with the Russian sage. I think that hydrangea needs iron.
Yeah.
We've got
look at these.
Yeah, aren't those
These
pretty?
look so good.
Just a ton of different varieties in there.
I like the mix instead of just having all one.
You like that? I do too.
Yeah, it's like interesting to look at.
And there's the cat's meow nepeta that gets quite large throughout this whole space that have been cut back, and this is their second kind of. Oh, we've got a little goldfish in there. Look at that. I wonder who's been out here. Ginger wine nine barks. We just planted some coreopsis in here next to it. See, this is where we've got a single Niagara Falls panicum, and I almost feel like it looks better to have them on their own.
Yeah.
Because they really just.
It's like a waterfall.
Yeah, it highlights their shape to not see them so close together. We've got a nice hedge of red twig dogwood going on back here.
What are those, 8 feet tall?
Oh, Arctic Fire dogwood. What does the tag say? Does the tag say 5 to 6 feet tall? I'm 5'4".
Yeah.
So.
There may be 7.
Yeah. We just cut back some verbascum. Benjamin and I did that the other morning. And we've got some hardy geraniums. These are the Rise Up Amberness roses right here. Oh, you guys, this mix turns out to be really, really pretty. After I planted it, I was kind of like, ooh, I don't know. It took forever for the Superbina to get into color, and it just wasn't doing much. But we've got the Marshmallow Bidens, Peachy Keen Superbina, and the Safari, I think this is a Safari Sky James Britannia. And can you imagine that in a container? It's such a soft, beautiful pastel mix. I love it. Oh, and then on this side, we have the Invincible Sublime hydrangeas, which have really turned a corner. You guys were really diligent with iron on these, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They still need more.
They do, but boy, they look so much better than they did.
They were looking really poor there for a while.
They were like the whole plant looked like this.
Yeah.
Maybe even worse than that. And I mean, they are forming up these beautiful, huge, look at that, huge blooms. I want this whole space to be decked out with those. And these are in full sun on a sunny day. And they're just rocking. They're looking so good. We've got the silver lining Artemisia. It's a really big perennial. Did you just almost fall down there?
No.
delphiniums that we dug up from the formal flower garden when it used to be a cut flower garden and brought them over here. That was earlier this spring. One of the Rudbeckia that happened to be planted near it in the formal flower garden, supposed to be an annual, wasn't, and it came up in here, and I love it. I'm like, ooh, I'm hoping it seeds itself and pops up in here. Wouldn't that be beautiful? I just love that look. We're gonna take this out. This is a Kodiak fresh Durvella, and while they are a pretty plant in the spring especially, they can't handle our full sun. It's like one of the only Durvellas that I'm aware of that really does need to be planted in a protected spot, maybe, well, at least in our area. James Britannia Safari Dusk right here. Oh, it's just so beautiful. Right underneath some roses that need to be deadheaded really bad. Maybe this week we'll do that. Okay, I think we can head, to the other side of this garden. Should we break this up into 2 tours?
Yeah, maybe.
Hey, Douglas. So point of reference, this is where we just came from. So now I'm gonna walk down this side. We haven't even mulched this side yet, but things are looking pretty good. We've got the Rockin' Deep Purple Salvia. I planted these really late, and those deep purples were leftovers from another project. So it worked out perfectly. Superbena Pink Cashmere. And then this is the same hanging basket that we had out in the ground out there. It has the Violet Ice, Hoopla Vivid Orchid, and Super Tuna Mini Vista White. They're really pretty. Oh, look at this. The Superbena Pink Cashmere. Backed by the Ecnops. This is the Retro Blue, or Retro Ecnops. So we started from seed not this last winter, but the winter before. Planted them out last year, and last year they didn't do a tremendous amount, but this year they are awesome and the pollinators love them. Like the Ecnops and the Orangium, probably in top 5 for pollinator attracting plants. Like easily, maybe top 3 even. They're awesome. We've got roses, I can't remember the names of these. Erin, I don't know if you remember. It's a pink rose. There's actually a third one in there. I'm hoping it rebounds. I don't know what happened to it, but I kind of wanted this like nice little ring of pink roses here. Quick Fire Fab Hydrangea. We planted the ironweed in here, which is a new perennial for next year, so we'll see what happens. The foliage looks very healthy. And then this corner is kind of a jumble, which is fun. And it's a jumble because we planted the Sage Advice, Russian sage, right back here. I did not plant any of these. They're just coming up. And I mean, Russian sage is another one of those that likes it on the dry side. So if it's gonna seed itself, like here is a great spot for it to wanna actually take hold. We've got the Pink Dawn Salvia. This is its second bloom. We're gonna cut it back again and hope for a third. Depends on our seasons. Most of the time we can get 3 blooms out of them. We've got the Lilac Crush. Yeah, thank you. Hibiscus. The rain really did a number on them this morning, but you can imagine what they looked like kind of before all that. Huge blooms. They're beautiful right here, and I love looking across, especially when those hollyhocks are in full bloom. It's such a pretty different layers in here. And then we've got the luscious, again, pinkberry blend, lantana with the Supertunia persimmon. And then I've got a rose called South Park, which was struggling. It's kind of an orange colored rose. But look at this. If you get in close and like don't look at the struggle that the rest of the plant's in, look at that. They're really pretty. Montana Moss Juniper. There's some Mr. Mustard Spirea right here, Black Lace Elderberry. This is a cottontail yarrow. It looks like baby's breath, but it's actually a yarrow. We've got King of Ages Daylily, which we'll be cutting back here soon. And this kind of brings us back to our berry beds. So now we need to go down the rock pathway. Okay, so now I want to take you down this stone pathway. I love how many pathways we've got going on now. I mean, I just couldn't have really imagined that when we very first started this, what, 4 years ago? Yeah, right in here, we planted all these brand new this year. There's the delphiniums. This is a new one for next year, and I can't remember the exact name. But they've withstood our winds, and look at how big these bloom panicles are. Like, look at this. It's massive. I hope they look like they like this spot. We've got the Rose Rhinestones Penstemon, and in the end, the sedum is supposed to be taller than the penstemon, but I don't know. It's looking like this spot's maybe getting a little too much water. I might have to do some shifting in this space a little bit. We've got some bearded iris here, and then some midnight velvet sedum, the Flavorette honey apricot roses. They're so beautiful. With right behind it, the anise hyssop we started from seed. Look at how tall it is. Oh my goodness. Stokes asters down here. We've planted some Weigillas in here this year. Can't remember the name of it, but planted it this year. These are the reminiscent pink roses. And then it kind of stops right here. So we've got some room to do some stuff, but I did just plant those Siberian iris back in there. And we'll get something in here. I'm thinking though, I need some kind of water on this side.
A water feature?
Yeah. So I've got to figure out the
like
best.
A big pond right here.
Oh no. No, thinking a fountain of some kind that you can pull the plug and drain it and clean it. I mean, maybe even something like right in here. Now don't judge me on my foxglove. I need to groom them. They are blooming. Just look up above them. But maybe a water feature like right in here. It's far enough away. I don't even see the one in the formal flower garden right here. That might be a good spot, but the chautauquas are looking great. We just planted the salvia this year and needs to be cut back. Our flower topiary, very healthy. I need to shear it a little bit so it looks a little bit more flower-esque. Hoopside blue spruce. This has got to be like one of the best spruces we've got.
Yep.
In terms of color, at least. So pretty. And then down this way, really need to get some more stuff in here and spend some time grooming those. Maybe we should do that this week. But we've got Russian sage in here along with more of the quickfire fab hydrangeas. This is a 7 Suns flower tree, a heptacodium called Temple of Bloom. And it's one of the latest blooming plants, I think, in our garden. And it is fantastic. If you don't have one, I highly recommend it. They're amazing. More of the echinops. Look at all the bees.
You really should do more for pollinators.
I know. There's another, this is the orchid something, Super Tuny orchid something for next year, along with the improved white knight lobularia for next year as well. And they're beautiful. I'm loving them right here. This is a fall blooming aster right here. We've got some Moroccan daisies right in there, and they're kind of out of bloom right now, but they're beautiful when they're in bloom. Yeah, and that wraps up the tour of the South Garden. I think we're going to stop here and pick up with a second tour video that goes around the house, the gardens around that, and the Hartley and the pond. The pathway behind the pond is pretty much done, minus the sand between the stones, so we're going to show you that. I just want to be able to spend more time doing that, so we'll do a part 2 here next. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed seeing what our garden looks like in July. I hope it looks as good in August. I feel like it's looking really good right now. I'm really happy with it. So anyway, hope you guys are having a great day, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.